Miners, and welcome back. We are having another episode of Magic Speedruns today, and we are putting all manners out the window. We are playing some Belcher, and we are going to burp in our opponent's faces like a monster. So this is an old school deck. It's kind of Storm adjacent. Those who've been around the format a while know what the whole plan is. Basically, you got one land in your deck. It's the only land you need, and it's a mountain. Taiga specifically, but the fact that it has a mountain type is very important because the whole point of this deck is to ritual out a Goblin Charbelcher as quickly as possible and then activate it to flip your entire deck and dome your opponent for some ungodly amount. The reason that the Taiga being a mountain matters is because if for some reason you aren't able to get your Taiga onto the battlefield before you get your Goblin Charbelcher down, Charbelcher only reveals until you hit a land. And if that land happens to be a mountain, it deals twice as much damage. So it's always a risk belching if you don't have the Taiga out onto the battlefield already. But because of the fact that the damage doubles, it means even if you go for it, only a few cards should be enough to be able to kill your opponent. So basically, it's just a whole bunch of fast mana. And then you've got Land Grant, which is a free spell if you have no lands in your hand to go find your Taiga and get onto the battlefield so that you know you'll flip your whole deck with Belcher. If that plan isn't going to work, it does have a Storm finish instead with 3 main deck Empty the Worms to be able to create a Goblin army. And then if you need to win that turn, if you happen to be able to get a large enough Goblin army and then Burning Wish, you can go grab Goblin Warstrike out of the sideboard, which is a burn spell that deals damage to your opponent equal to the number of goblins you have. So if for some reason you're not going to be able to untap and then win with swinging with goblins, you can actually dome them for however many goblins you have as well. There's also a traditional Storm kill where if you have to, you can Burning Wish out of Tendrils of Agony and just Tendrils them to death like a normal Storm deck. This deck is very wonky when it comes to mulligans since you only have one land, so the hands you're keeping look really, really wonky because 99% of the time you're not going to have a land in them. But because the vast majority of the deck is just mana or ways to wheel and go again, you're going to keep some really, really sketchy looking hands. This is basically the ultimate force check deck. It does have Veil of Summer to sort of protect your stuff. But it's very much, does your opponent have the counter spell? If not, they're dead. In the sideboard, you've got full playset of Leyline of Sanctity to be able to fight against the discard decks because you are very, very weak to discard because you only have a few key spells that you want and you need to make sure that you have them. You've also got some sideboard hate pieces here. Carpet of Flowers for being able to establish mana against blue decks. Revenant Silence is another free spell that destroys all enchantments your opponent has, and you can cast it for free as long as you have a forest, which is the other reason why your one land is a Taiga, so that it has a forest for that reason. Also, so it produces green mana, so you can actually cast your green spells like Tender Wall and Veil of Summer if you need to. Also has 1 copy of Echo of Aeons on the sideboard, so you can wish for it to be able to wheel if you need to. Another Veil of Summer to bring it up against the blue decks and the discard decks, and then Force of Vigor to be able to get rid of problematic artifacts or enchantments. That being said, stuff like Vexing Bauble is very, very hard for this to beat. You have to basically be able to get a Veil of Summer through so that it's not automatically countering your stuff because 99% of your spells are free. So even then, Force of Vigor is kind of iffy as a hate card for Vexing Bauble specifically. But yeah, so we're going old school with this deck. Blast from the past, seeing how quickly we can run through our matches today, see if we can live up to the speedrun's name. And yeah, let's belch some opponents. I'll catch you all in the wrap-up. All right, manners are going out the window today. We are belching all over our opponents. Let's adjust this because I didn't do that from the last video. Alright, won the die roll on the first round. Let's see what we got here. This is a turn 1 wheel to see what we can do from here. So I think we're going to go ahead and keep this and just put our opponent to the force check. And hope that our wheel does things we want it to do. Okay, we are going to Chromox. Put a Spirit Guide under this one. Chromox. Put the other Spirit Guide under that one. Play out a Petal. Play out a Lion's Eye Diamond. And then we are going to go ahead and gamble for an Echo of Aeons, which is going to go instantly into the graveyard. And then we are going to go ahead and wheel and hope our opponent doesn't have a force and that they didn't particularly like their opening hand. Okay, this This wheels again. I can do a decent empty the warrens for lethal here if I want to. I'm trying to think of what we even want to do here. I don't think. Wait, no, this actually is enough mana to be able to go Burning Wish into a lethal Tendrils, assuming they don't have whatchamacallit here? A Force of Will, which it doesn't seem like they do, but they are pausing quite a bit here. So they might have a Force of Will. Or some kind of force effect. Because they're thinking about it on this. Alright, that resolved. Do we just want to empty the Warrens here? Or do we want to go for the win? I feel like we should go for the win. And then if this doesn't end up working out, we have enough mana to be able to spin again. So yeah, let's go for the win here. Do that. Do this for red. And then this can be our double black, or this could be one of our green if we need it. So let's go ahead and pop for black and see if this will work. Because if they force this, we can go ahead and just echo. Because we still have blue mana with the Lotus Petals. Alright, it looks like we're going to be able to get the Storm win. Turn 1, game 1, grab Tendrils of Agony. Tendrils our opponents. Casual Storm of 11? I think that does it. I don't... Okay, yeah, we got there. I was going to say, I don't know what the hell our opponent can do from there to get out of it, but... Alright, since we have no clue what the hell our opponent is doing, we're just gonna run it back. Okie dokie. I don't think they saw any of our Belcher stuff in game 1. So in theory, they shouldn't know what we're doing here. We could just look like a standard, like the Epic Gamble or an Epic Storm list. But the Spirit Guides would probably tip them off. This is... I could gamble for an LED and wheel, but now that they know that they should get a force, this probably isn't a great idea. So I think we got a mulligan this one. What can we do with this? This is land grant, get a land, Chrome Mox, put Simian Spirit Guide under it, Lotus Petal, place Tinderwall for 1. We have these still, crack it. Go for an empty the Warrens? Yeah, let's try this. Just see if we can juke them out with an empty the Warrens win here. Just do like a little empty and kill them over the course of like 2 turns. Put the Veil of Summer back. See where this goes. Hopefully they're bringing in... Okay, yeah, this is going to incentivize them less to try to Force a Will us, if they in fact have that. Okay, so it looks like it's probably Re-Froginator. Polluted Delta into Basic Island, into Tamiyo. It's kind of screaming Froginator. Okay, so we have an Elvish Spirit Guide, which can actually help us get around a daze as well. So let's start out with the Chroma, or let's start out with the Lotus Petal. Basically, we just want them to not have Force of Will. We can get around a single daze. And it seems like they're letting our stuff resolve here. So I am going to get to the point where once I reveal my hand with Land Grant, all that should be left is going to be Empty the Warrens plus Simian Spirit Guide. And hopefully 10 Gobos. I mean, granted, if they can flip Tamiyo, my Goblins are completely shut off. I'm just not winning the game. But we will see. Hopefully they don't have a Brainstorm to be able to flip this Tamiyo instantly, is the hope. Alright, well, let's do the thing. And like I said, let's just hope they don't have a Brainstorm. Alright, go grab our Taiga, play our Taiga, and then let's hope this is enough. Like I said, we're kind of just hoping here that they don't have the Brainstorm to be able to flip the Tamiyo right away. Because if they do, they can just stonewall these Goblins literally forever. And if they do, we're probably going to go ahead and scoop it up. Do not have a Brainstorm, please. Well, they're getting in and attacking first, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay, they didn't have the Brainstorm, so I am going to get one attack in with these Goblins at least. And the hope is that they just straight up don't ever have it. Or we can pivot into the Belcher kill if they don't have any counter magic. Alright, they need to find a way to flip this Tamiyo. Okay, there's a Ponder. That's getting them a little closer. So they would need land plus attack, or land plus another can, and it looks like they don't have it. Okay, getting to be able to tendrils our opponent and kill them with goblins in round one already. Okay, so Belcher's turning out to be more of a storm deck. All right, on to the next one. All right, round two. Lost the die roll. This is a turn one wheel if we think that's enough, but then we are banking very hard on hitting stuff that we care about. This is also a mana source away from being able to protect it. I think we're gonna give it a shot here. Alright, so I'm guessing our opponent's on something blue. Probably Froginator. Ew. Vexing Bauble. That does complicate things, but we do have the Veil of Summer to force our stuff through, so I think we're still just a mana source away from being able to do the thing. Into another Lion's Eye Diamond. That doesn't quite do it, so I think we're gonna wait here. We're very close to being able to just belch him here. Unfortunately, the jig is up. We gotta discard a Belcher. I kind of know what we're going up against. Discard completely wrecks us. Double blue. They could hardcast a Daze now, but I'm thinking if they have Vexing Bauble, they don't have counter magic. Especially if they're just playing out another one and they're not cracking it. They could have like a Spell Pierce or something, but I don't know. Empty the Warrens. Gotta check that. Like, it really sucks doing this, but we gotta go to a point where we can Veil of Summer and then force our stuff through. So it sucks that they're seeing a lot of our win cons. Consider, is this Dredge, maybe? Oh, it's High Tide. Okay. So they do have counter magic then. It's just interesting that they ran out baubles. They are in a position now where they theoretically could go off, but it doesn't seem like they are yet. Hardcast Force of Negation is a possibility now. There's our land. But we still need a mana source. But we can at least play out the land now. Unfortunately, this land grant is not mana, but we can pitch it to a Chromox. Unfortunately, we might be in a position where our opponent just kind of does their thing, but we will see. Like, we're just one mana away from being able to kind of do some dumb shit here. There is also a world where we could have Burning Wished there to go get our Echo and hope for the best. But since they're just passing the turn still, I think they're trying to save up their mana. This could also be the like reset version that wins at instant speed in our upkeep. Okay, so here is where we are going to do the thing. So let's start off with a Veil of Summer. If this gets countered, then we're just shit out of luck. But if this resolves, we can start doing things. They also do have the mana to be able to crack both of these baubles to be able to force a will. Okay, so this looks like it's probably the reset version. If they're high-tiding now, yes, this is probably the reset version. If they're getting high-tide back, so I'm guessing that means they have a draw spell of some sort. And they wouldn't do this if they couldn't go off at instant speed. Unless they're just looking for answers somehow. Because this is still going to be 6 mana. Because they're going to brainstorm, get the high-tide back. They might just be looking for a way to win here and not actually have it in hand, but I don't know. That seemed incorrect, but I mean, they still have 5 mana. So I guess it just comes down to what is the last card in their hand? They're cracking the Vexing Bauble, though, so maybe they're looking for a way out. Okay. They have 2 cards in hand. They have a redraw here if they want to, so they theoretically have 3 cards to try to go off here. Okay, Cunning Wish gets them something from outside the game, but what does it get? I can't remember what the actual, like, payoff here is. Meditate. That lets them draw and untap some stuff, right? Draw 4 cards, skip your next turn. So they can draw 4. So I guess there's still a world where they could whiff off of this draw 4? And, like, I'd F6 through this, but there's a possibility that they whiff. And I don't want to just, like, skip my whole turn. Mission briefing to get back to meditate. So they kept whatever it was on top. So I'm guessing they like what they found. Oh, they put 1 card into their graveyard, which must have been that Consider. Turnabout to untap a bunch of mana. Okay. Cracking the bauble to draw? We can just draw another 4 off of the Meditate first. Okay, there's the Meditate. They're back up to 7. Do they have what they need to be able to win from here is the question. Like, I wish there was a way that I could, like, just yield until the stack cleared. Is that an option? No possible play, yield all, yield until next end step. Yeah, unfortunately there's no way to just yield until the stack clears. So I do have to manually click through all of this. Which this is like the worst part about playing against High Tide, is like, you just have to sit here and let them do their thing. Especially when they're doing it in upkeep. They're almost halfway through their deck already. I'm very tempted to just concede, but technically there's still a possibility that they fizzle. Alright, resetting their mana. Another Cunning Wish, okay. Like, I can pretty much guarantee you they have it from here, but I can't just, like, F6, unfortunately. Because there's a Blue Sun Zenith. Are they just gonna... Whose deck are they gonna make me draw here? Or are they just gonna be able to get enough to make me draw 49? Because, I mean, they do have a shitload of mana, but... Blue Sun, X equals 7, targeting themselves. I'm guessing that means they have another Turnabout or Untap spell. Or they're hoping to find one. Because they left 4, specifically. And now that... Yeah, I'm just gonna scoop here. This isn't worth my time. You got it, opponent. Took me 4 turns to finally draw the mana that I needed to be able to go off. That being said, what can they do here? I think... Because their whole thing is to be able to mill us out. So I'm going to take all the ley lines in. Let's take out 1 land grant, bring Veil of Summer back in, take out the Seething Songs, and then take out 1 more land grant, because we really only want 1. So let's try that. Okay, let's not have to wait 4 turns to be able to go off this time. Okay, what do we have here? We have land grant for a land... Chromox, put 1 of these away. It's still only 3 mana. Gamble for an LED. Hope that we win the LED and then we just have to draw 1 more mana to be able to go off. Is that worth it? Yeah, let's give it a shot. I like our chances with the LED. Or we can land grant and print Gamble. Ritual out the Goblin Charbelcher on turn 1, and then we just need 1 mana to be able to go off. Yeah, I actually like that. But let's do that instead. Then we don't risk losing anything. Alright. Micromox. I mean, this is like the nightmare scenario up against just like a blue deck that we're gonna have to like Force of Will check. So like if they have a force, we're just fucked, but okay, jig's up, you get to see what we're doing here. We're gonna Ritual out to turn 1, Charbelcher, assuming you don't have any counters. Grab our Taiga. Play a Desperate Ritual. Play a Desperate Ritual. Run out of Charbelcher. Hope this resolves and that we draw mana. Okay, we just need mana. See what our opponent does here. Okay, just playing a mana. They could Stifle in theory. But then we can just try to go again. A Spirit Guide would be like the best thing here. A land grant. Okay, well now we're back in this position where we need to find mana. I mean, if they were to bounce the Chrome Mox back to hand, that'd probably be fine. Like, we can just replay it and print the land grant. Bouncing the Belcher back to our hand would be a problem. They like whatever they saw, because they opted and kept it on top. Luckily, these are decks that typically need, like, 3 lands before they can really go off. Okay, they're taking out our Desperate Rituals, so that does get rid of 2 of our draws that get us out of this. They are going to see that we have ley lines now as well. Like I said, some kind of uncounterable, whatchamacallit, like a Simian Spirit Guide. Okay, or an LED. See if they got a counter for the LED. If they don't, we theoretically win. Brainstorming, that seems like a desperation brainstorm, trying to find an answer. Did they find an answer for the LED? Yes. Force of Will pitching Opt. Okay. So now we just hope that they can't go off this turn. Or that they don't go off, like, at instant speed in response. Because this is the whatchamacallit version. Okay, so there's a world where they can go off at instant speed now. In response to us belching. Which means we might be better off belching on their turn. If we draw a mana source here. Is there anything in our sideboard that can help us here? Probably not, because none of this is mana. I guess we just pass. Like, when we do eventually draw mana, we need to try to go off on their turn. Because they are the instant speed version that goes off on upkeep. They're opting, okay. They like whatever they saw, okay. Because of reset, I don't think they're able to go off on their turn. I think it has to be our turn. And they kept something. So I would love an instant speed source of mana like a Spirit Guide to be able to go off on their turn. Spirit Guide. Rite of Flame, okay. Well, I mean, we're going for it. Can they go off on 3 mana, or do they have another counterspell? No, okay. Well, we're seeing if they can go off on 3 mana. They're going to try. All right, well, now we actually can F6, because it's like either you have a way to stop this or you don't. There is no in between. There's High Tide. Let's see if they can do it. 4 cards, 4 mana. All right, what are your 3 cards, opponent? Mission Briefing. Put Surgical and Consider into the graveyard. Okay, so there's no mass card draw spells there. Recasting High Tide from their graveyard. Okay. They seem to care more about mana than card draw. Okay, there's a Cunning Wish, and they've got 4 mana, so they could meditate here. Chooses Meditate. All right, they're going to meditate. Okay, they had a reset, so I guess this all comes down to what do they draw off of these 4 cards. All right, opponent. Can you piece it together? Rainstorm? Even as a Storm player, I really don't like High Tide as a deck. I played it once. I think I got like the reverse trophy. I went 0-4 with it, or 0-5. And it's just like, even when you're playing it, it's just, since it's a non-deterministic combo and you just have to go through all of this shit, it's such a pain in the ass. And you can't just like scoop to it because there is always the possibility that they just fizzle. It's also interesting that they're on the reset version. Like, it sucks that we had to try to do this on our own turn. Well, they drew a Blue Sun Zenith. They have another, like, untapper. I'm sure they do. They can just... Oh, shit, they didn't get it. Okay. All right, I can't believe we squeaked that one out. All right, on to game 3, I guess. And that's why you just can't scoop to it. Like, I was scooping that first game just for the sake of saving time. And our opponent scooped the match? Okay. Belcher too strong. Got it. Okie dokie. Alright, round 3. 1 the die roll. This is not a turn 1 Belcher, but this is close, because what? We could imprint, the empty the Warrens, and then we just need a green mana to go off? Or we need another ritual? I think we're going to keep this, give it a shot. I think we're going to just run out the LED, just in case we get a green card to be able to put under the Chrome Mox, to be able to actually run out the Tinderwall. So we're just going to run out the LED and pass the turn, see how that goes. Like, the mulliganing with this deck is so weird because there's only 1 land in the whole deck, so it feels really weird. Like, 99% of the time you're going to have a no-lander. That's going to look really weird to the opponent to just run out nothing or just, like, an artifact like an LED and then not do anything with it. This is Delver, so we're gonna have to watch out for Force of Will. We're gonna have to watch out for, like, Daze and shit like that. So we draw the Taiga. Does that let us go off here? Yes. We are going to force check the shit out of our opponent here. That resolves. We're gonna put the empty under it. Run out Tinderwall. I just hope our opponent didn't keep a Force of Will in game 1. This does get countered by a Daze, but then we have another one to try to go off. Or we could crack the LED to get it through, and then we just need a mana source to be able to go off. It looks like they're debating about countering this. Alright, goes through. Cast a Rite of Flame. Crack Tinderwall? Don't have a Force Bro? If it's just a Daze, I think I am willing to crack the Lion's Eye Diamond. Oh, opponent. They did not have the Force. And we squeaked out game 1 versus Delver? Did we do it? Holy shit, we got it. Nice. Oh, holy shit, I was not expecting to get game 1 against Delver. Okay, sideboard games are going to be much more difficult. I believe we bring in Carpet of Flowers, Veil of Summer. Probably take out 2 of the land grants and 1 of the Seething Songs and try something like that. Okay. This isn't bad. Let's see, what do we do here? We can Lotus Petal, Spirit Guide out the Tinderwall, LED, gamble for Echo, and hope that they don't have a Force of Will? Chances are they're probably going to now that they saw what we're doing, or they're going to have some kind of hate. Oh, it's Temur Delver. Okay. Interesting. Does that mean they have Stifles? I'm very curious if they have Stifle. Or we just have the Echo? Hope. I'm kind of hoping they go after this gamble. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm going to cast the gamble first to see if they will go after it. Okay, that resolved. Let's crap out the Tinderwall. Okay. Okay. Crack that. See if they go after the gamble. They might wait for the Echo. Or they might just be... okay, well... We're doing this with an Echo in the bank. So if the first one doesn't work out, we just need some mana. Let's just use both of the blue. Now show me the Force. If they really can... Okay, there's the Force. Well, pitching a Murktide region. Okay. So we kind of knew that was going to happen. We do have another Echo in the bank, so if we can hit some mana, we can try to wheel again. But we were kind of expecting that to happen, if we're being honest here. We basically just want to just hit runner mana sources and try to pop off again. Okay, Wasteland's whatever. I've only got one land in my deck, so it's not going to find a ton of purchase. Okay, that's mana. One more legitimate mana source, and we can try to go off again. However, it will be counterable by a daze. Unless it's an LED. Alright, double Wasteland, that's fine. Like I said, I've only got one land in the entire deck, so it doesn't really matter. Through another Echo, okay. So that can go under a Chrome Mox if we need it. I'm hoping their hand isn't just like a bunch of reactive spells, and it's like a Dragon Rage Channeler, a Murktide Regent, shit like that. Okay, Charter Belcher doesn't do anything. Alright, they're doing something here. Okay, there's a Tarmogoyf, so they have a clock finally. The other problem is wheeling also potentially puts more counters in their hand. So, I mean, it is a risky proposition. Well, there's a Chrome Mox, so we're just gonna go for it. Like, we're here to force check our opponent. We're gonna force check the opponent. Like, if they got another one, so be it. I mean, we do have a repeatable blue source of mana now, as well. They have another Force. This also gets got by days. Okay. This one's probably over. Basically, we need another LED and another Echo of Aeons to be able to pull this off. And we're probably just going to die to this Tarmogoyf in the meantime. But, I mean, that's what this deck does. Alright, take a Schwack from the Goyf. Another Charbelcher. That doesn't do anything. Ship the turn. Take probably another Schwack for 4 from the Goyf. In the meantime, they're probably saving up even more counter spells. We are down 3 Echoes. Alright, that's mana. Doesn't really do anything yet. Ship the turn again. Yeah, they're just banking up counter spells over there, I'm sure. It's the only reason they're not doing anything. Either that or there's just like a bunch of Murktide regions stuck in their hand. Carpet of Flowers I can't cast. There's something to be said about possibly waiting to try to go off, but I don't think it's worth it. Like, I don't realistically think we would have been able to make it. Alright, their flash, that doesn't change the clock at all. Unless they have a lightning bolt or some way to pump the Tarmogoyf one more. Actually, they could pump the Goyf one more. They could wasteland their own land to get another land type or another card type into the graveyard and kill me. We'll see if they see that line. Or if they just have a fetch land, they could do it too. But there is a world I'm dead if they see the line here. Alright, getting in. Do they see the line? Yes, they see the line. Okay. It was kind of a cheeky little line. I wasn't sure if they'd see it or not, but I don't think our next card would have gotten us out of it anyways. Yeah, no, it wasn't going to do it. Okay. I mean, that's what this deck does. We force check our opponent and see what happens. I think we just run it back. Alright, let's see. See if we can get a hand that gets us... Okay, this actually does get us through a Force of Will. So we're going to keep this. So this can get us through one Force. Alright, let's go. Land. Cast the Chrome Mox, because I do want to keep the mana on the battlefield in case somehow this doesn't work. Put the Simian Spirit Guide under it. Play Veil of Summer. I said this gets through 1 force. If they have 2, we're just dead. But this does get through a force. The fact that they're not just snap forcing this right now makes me think they only have 1. Alright. Our stuff's going to resolve. There is a world where they might have a Mind Break trap, but I don't think most of these Delver decks play Mind Break trap. Grab the Echo, spin it, and hope that we are able to win off of the 7. Okay, does this get us there? No, but it lets us wheel again. And it's going to let us wheel with a bunch of extra mana left over. I think we're going to put... This is only ever +1 mana anyway, so let's put that under there. LED, LED. Crack 1 for red, 1 for blue. Wheel again, leaving up 1 blue and 2 red. Hope that this can get us there. Okay, you can Force of Will it, but it can't be countered, so I don't really care. You just got rid of a Brazen Borrower for no reason. This gets us a very big Empty the Warrens. Actually, this should just kill them. Yeah, this is going to kill them. Because we can empty, and then we should have enough mana left over to also Burning Wish, go get the Goblin Warstrike, and just 20 their face. And then this isn't going to find a land, but it's upping Storm count, which is all that I really care about right now. Just to ensure that we have more than enough goblins to kill them. Cast this. Cast this. Exile Simian Spirit Guy. Make sure I have enough mana. Yes, I have plenty of mana to be able to do this. This is 30 goblins, and then we have the mana to be able to Burning Wish, go grab Goblin Warstrike, and 30 them to the face. And I honestly can't believe this is working as well as it is. I was not anticipating being able to lock in a positive record, nonetheless going 3-0 right off of the bat with this deck. Yeah, they see that they're dead. Alright, holy shit. Positive record's locked? This is going better than I thought it would. Alright, round 4. I mean, this is turn 1. Again, we just hard die to a Force of Will, but we're gonna go for it. See what happens. We also are on the draw, so we do get to see one more card potentially throw under this Chrome Mox. If we have a, whatchamacallit here too, a Echo of Aeons, if they force the Char Belcher, we can try to go off on a wheel. Or that's another mana source. Let's start out with the Taiga. This lets us get around a Daze specifically. And it looks like things are just resolving. Like, our opponent appears to be F6'd. So I think we just get the turn 1 here based off of what I'm seeing. And just to be safe, we are going to run this out so we can get around a Daze. And it looks like our opponent just didn't have it. So another turn 1 Belcher under our belt. I like it. Just being rude and burping at our opponent for the win. Alright, blue something. I don't know what, but blue something. So since we did see an island, we bring in Carpet of Flowers, Veil of Summers, take out Land Grant, Seething Song? Or maybe we'll leave another Land Grant in, take out Seething Songs. The Carpet of Flowers kind of act as Seething Songs for us in a longer game, and I want to keep the free spells because I have a feeling we're going to have to pivot onto a Storm plan here. So let's try that. Unfortunately, the problem with going off like that against a blue deck is now they know they need a Force card. So we know that they're going to keep a hand with a Force, and we're going to have to work our way around that. So that is the one downside about being able to go off turn 1 like that against a blue deck is blue decks don't always keep Force of Will in their opening hand because they don't know what they're up against and they don't know that they need it. So having hands that do decent stuff without the Force of Will protection are keepable in game 1, but then when they see we're on a deck like this, they know they need a Force of Will for game 2, so... Okay, what do we have here? I think I like this. If we get 1 more mana, we can try to go for the win, and if that fails, we can spin with Echo? I love, like... Oh! Rishadan pour out of a blue deck? Is this Merfolk? This might be Merfolk. As I was saying, I'd love a Chrome Mox to be able to put this empty under, because that would give us our mana. Or we just hit a Rite of Flame, and that should do it in itself as well. Okay, that resolved. Exile Simian Spirit Guide. Rite of Flame. Rite of Flame. I think I want a Desperate Ritual here just so I have the extra mana. If they counter this, then we're kind of just screwed and we have to wheel. Does this get the Force of Will is the question. There's no way they didn't keep a hand with a Force of Will. Okay, there's the Force of Will, pitching Tide Shaper, so this is definitely Merfolk. The question is, opponent, do you have another Force of Will? Because we are going to Echo, leaving one red open. It appears as though no. Okay, this could be a small, well, actually, it isn't even a small Empty the Warrens. This is actually a very large Empty the Warrens. Assuming all of this stuff resolves. Please don't have another, like, Force of Will? Okay, doesn't seem like they do. We're gonna Rite of Flame. If this gets countered, then we're screwed. Okay, we're not. So this should be a lethal Empty the Warrens here. Assuming they don't have, like, some random pitch stifle effect. Because this is, what, 22 goblins? Something like that? Oh my god, Mindbreak Trap. Holy shit. Okay. Alright, yeah. Now we're in a tough spot. I should have had Mindbreak Trap on my radar, but oh well. Another wheel helps. Silvergill Adept showing off. What did they reveal? Another Silvergill Adept. Okay. Okay. If we can get red mana, we can try to Burning Wish and wheel again and try to go again. But we're probably gonna run into, they're gonna have more free counter spells. Another Rishin Import. I'm assuming this is that other Silvergill Adept now. 3 mana. Okay. No, okay. They would just overpaid. Silvergill Adept showing Silvergill Adept again. So they're kind of just chaining Silvergill Adepts together. Okay. See if we can take down another blue deck here. We almost had it. We wheeled them into a Mindbreak Trap, which sucks, but... Veil of Summer can theoretically force through a wheel, but we need 2 more mana still to be able to do it. And they are getting their creatures down. Cycling a Lorien revealed, so that's their second blue mana, so they're actually in a position where they could double spell here, or they could play a Lord. And then we are very much in a position where we're probably just going to die to the beatdowns from the dorks. Played the land. I'm assuming this is the other Silvergill Adept. Yes? No? Maybe? No, they're attacking first. If they have a Voldaren Hexmage, that also just hard locks us. Because they're going to be able to essentially, like, daze every single one of our spells, and we're just never going to be able to resolve anything at that point, because we just don't have the mana to do it. Yeah, I think they're holding up a Voldaren Hexmage here. Another Burning Wish, that doesn't do anything. So they're probably going to flash in a Hexmage now as a Lord and as counter protection. No, oh, no, okay. Maybe that means they have a Subtlety? But they can't cast a Subtlety. Because they don't actually have 2 blue mana. Alright, opponent gets in. Alright, what do we get? That's a Simian Spirit Guide. 1 more mana and we can try to force a wheel through. Like, if we can get 1 more mana, we can Spirit Guide out Veil of Summer. 3 mana, Lord and Flash? Tishana's Tidebinder. Okay. They're just flashing that in for the sake of having a body, I guess? That also could stop a Storm Trigger. If they have a Lord, we're dead on board, I believe? Because these would go up to 3, that'd go up to 4. Okay, another Silvergill Adept showing off Tide Shaper. Well, luckily Tide Shaper isn't really doing much here. Alright, so this is it. It all comes down to this. Is we need this wheel to resolve. Like, we need to hit mana. We need the wheel to resolve. Unless they just flash in a Lord here and we're dead. Okay. So I'm guessing that means that they don't have the Voldaren Hexmage or whatever. So we need a mana, and we need this to resolve. That is not mana, so we just gotta raw dog it. If this gets countered, or if the wheel gets countered, we're just completely out of this game. And show me a Force of Will. Holy shit, that resolved. It doesn't really do anything, though. I mean, it kinda does. Is this enough mana to be able to go off is the question. There's also a very real possibility that they have counters again. Can I get the Stormwind off of this is the question. Possibly. So that would be 6. I could create a very large board here. As let's see, if I gamble, that's 7. Burning Wish is 8. Tendrils is 9. It puts them to 1. Or I try to Goblin War Leader. Or I can try to spin again and see how that goes. Because if they have the Tide Shaper, so they can turn this into an island. And then any kind of whatchamacallit. I mean, at this point, I think our best bet is just take the gamble, hope that we spin high on the Charbelcher. It's like, what do we do? Do we take the risky line or do we take the good line? I think we're going to take the line that guarantees we do stuff. Okay. So this is a possibility then. This actually worked out about as good as it possibly could. Because what we're going to do here is we're going to be able to do everything. Since we didn't chuck the Burning Wish, we can grab an empty, play the empty, and then we're going to try to wheel. Another Tidebinder stops this Storm Trigger. Another, whatchamacallit here, Mindbreak Trap counters all of this, and we're back to square one again. They seem to be resolving, which is weird. But again, this still just loses to an Island Walk Lord, because we know they can turn our Taiga into an island. So, we're just going to have to see how this goes. They haven't countered anything yet, which is weird. But now we're spinning again. Like, we are increasing their chances of doing things. This in and of itself doesn't do anything else, so I think we need to pass the turn and just hope that we didn't spin them into an Island Walk Lord, plus a way to turn our Taiga into an island. Alright, they got the Island Walk. Or they got the island. Now we just need to hope that they don't... Damn, I actually should have played out the Lotus Petal for Veil of Summer so that I could stop this. But I don't have a way to instant speed out this Veil of Summer. So now if they actually do have an Island Walk Lord, we're just dead. That was a big mistake on my part. I wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah, there's the Island Walk Lord. Okay, that was on me. I should have played out the Lotus Petal so that I could prevent this, but I just wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about trying to, like, go again next turn if something happens. Yeah, we just run it back. Can we take down the fish? So this is a small Empty the Warrens if it works. But we saw they have Mindbreak Trap. This dies to a whatchamacallit. This would be 1, 2, 3. An empty. I don't think an empty for 4 is good enough here. I like this a bit better. Let's put back the Spirit Guide for now. I think I'm going to start out with Carpet of Flowers. Because, like, 90% of their lands are islands. So this should act as additional mana and replace the Spirit Guide, because the Spirit Guide doesn't count towards Storm anyways. So this still leaves us up to potentially be able to Storm next turn for a minimum of 4. If we can get 5, I'd feel better about that, because then that's a 2-turn clock, assuming it doesn't just get destroyed. Alright, so we can Storm for 5 here, which I actually think I like. Yes. Let's make green mana. I am gonna try this. I just can't give them time is the problem. And if they counter one of these rituals... Actually, can I splice this and get even more mana? I can, but it doesn't help me in any way, shape, or form. So... Because it doesn't actually increase the number of spells I'm casting. And then just hope that they don't have a Mindbreak Trap here. Or like a Stifle or something. And they had the Mindbreak Trap. Damn. Like, that's the part that sucks about this deck, is it is just a Force of Will check deck, basically. Alright, so apparently they kept an extremely reactive hand. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and gamble here, just for the sake of throwing a whatchamacallit in the yard, assuming this doesn't get countered, and it didn't. Okay. I actually probably should not have made the mana there, now that I think about it, because I could have wheeled second main, and now this opens me up to, like, a Surgical Extraction or something. Chalice of the Void on 0. Okay. That doesn't stop Echo. Hopefully they didn't draw... Oh, okay. This actually forces the Echo through, assuming they don't have multiple counterspells. Yes. Make blue. Start with Veil of Summer. Opponent is Force of Willing, pitching that. I mean, we just go for it. Like, hopefully they don't have another force. If they do, oh well. And they did. God damn it. Mind Break Trap and double Force of Will. Oh, man. Alright, yeah, this was probably over now. I mean, it's not completely over yet, but it's probably pretty close. Another Tinder Wall. Okay. Oh, yeah, we can make some mana here. We'll make green, just so we're not actually tapping our thing. Heal through the turn. Like, we're at least able to get our mana under us pretty well. So, we'll see how this goes. Alright, they finally got their second mana. Still just sitting on a shitload of counter spells, I'm sure. Nope. We are actually almost to the point where we can just try to hard cast an Echo. We need them to play one more island, or we need to find another mana source that's not a 0-drop. So, Simian Spirit Guide, a Ritual, something. Master of the Pearl Trident. Okay. Unfortunately, Wheeling does put all of these counterspells back in their deck. That doesn't do anything. No. Heal through the turn. No. Can't realistically do anything anyway, so we can actually probably... I could F6, but I'm going to make it seem like I might have like another Veil of Summer or something to protect my spells, or my stuff here. Unfortunately, that's not an island, so it doesn't increase my mana off of Carpet of Flowers. Into another Master of the Pearl Trident. Okay. I'm still at a point where I need a, whatchamacallit here. What are you growling at, girl? Here he's behind me. She sees something out the window. I don't know if you can hear her growling back there. Veil of Summer. Okay. That can protect some of my stuff, but I still need to actually get another mana here, because this is only 5. Ideally, another 2 mana would be best, because then I can Veil and Echo. Or if the first Echo gets countered, I can try to Veil and Echo the following turn if I'm still alive. Well, there goes Taiga. Now I'm even further off. Like, an LED also would do it. Actually, no, it wouldn't, because the LED gets countered. Scratch that. Forgot about the Chalice. If they just don't play any other lands the rest of the game... Actually... Yeah, we're going to go for it here, because they very well could flash in a Lord, and then I'm just dead very shortly thereafter. Alright, I mean, our only hope here is that this resolves, and they play another mana source. Okay, I think if they flash in a Lord, we're dead. They also could flash in a Tishana's Tidebinder in response to the Goblin Charbelcher trigger. Because if they flash in a Lord, then play a Lord, we're just dead. They didn't flash in a Lord. That's good. So we need them to play another island, or we need another mana source. Now our zeros are actually legitimate mana sources, because I can Veil of Summer to force them through the Chalice. Again, this is also assuming they don't just have a Tishana's Tidebinder. Show me a Spirit Guide? Tinderwall. Okay. That should do it. Make green. Play Tinderwall? Maybe? Question mark? Sack Tinderwall Belcher? Do you have the Tidebinder? Do they have the Tidebinder? They're tapping mana like they do. Oh, they have the Tidebinder. Oh, man, that's game. They counter this. Oh, okay. Good game, opponent. Good game. Holy shit, that was close. Damn. Oh, they need the Tidebinder. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, final round. I realized after that one that I forgot to update the record, so the record is correct now. We were 3-0 going into that one, lost it to the fish. 3-1, won the die roll. This is almost there. If I can find one more mana, this works. Unfortunately, it's going to be super, super suspicious if I play literally nothing on turn 1. But I think we're going to give it a try. Like, that is something weird. Like, I could play the land grant to get my mana here, but then they know what's going on. So, as weird as it seems, I'm going to go ahead and just pass without doing anything. Like, it's super, super suspicious, but I'm going for it. Like, they gotta think that we're either on, like, a slow reanimator or something, and I want to discard what's in my hand, or they might think I'm on oops and just waiting for everything to go off in one turn, which is fairly accurate. I'm just not oops. I am waiting to try to go off on one turn. Swamp doesn't really tell me anything. I'm glad they didn't Thought Seize me. Okay, Tinderwall does it. So we are going to... The jig is up. They know what we're doing now. If they are a blue-black deck that just let off on a swamp, we're going to get wrecked here. But if they are actually just on a mono-black deck that doesn't have counter magic, we're probably pretty good. Sacrifice that. Exile Simian Spirit Guide. Play Seething Song number 1. Play Seething Song number 2. I'm going to hold on to the second Seething Song. We don't need it to go off, which it looks like we just go off anyways. Cool. If this is a mono black deck, that's very good for us. Alright, yeah. Our opponent is just like, hell yeah. A Belcher fan, I see. Thank you, Nene666. I am a fan of the janky decks as well. Seeing as we saw black, we were 100% bringing in the ley lines. Let's bring in Veil. Take out 3 of the land grants and 2 of the Seething Songs, I think. And yeah, let's try that. As much as I want to keep this for the ley line, I can't. This just doesn't do anything. So I'm gonna have to ship this one. Okay, this is a better hand. What do we put back though? We probably put back the Desperate Ritual. And then this saves us up to be able to do something. Like, we don't have the mana to be able to storm off here. Because it's 2, 3, 5. So we're 1 mana short from being able to do a small Empty the Warrens. But the ley line should buy us some time. Hopefully. I also will say this is a older version of the deck. When I was testing to get the math right, I did run into an opponent who was asking where first day of class was, because that can give your goblins haste, so that you can swing in and kill them the turn that you go for an Empty the Warrens, and this deck just doesn't have it. This is a much older version of the deck. Alright, Wasteland. So we're going to want to hold on to this Taiga for a little bit until we're ready to go off, because the Taiga is essentially going to be a Lotus Petal for all intents and purposes. Let's play out Lotus Petal just so that we have something going on here. There's something to be said about maybe holding on to that for the sake of Storm, but I don't think... Like, up against a black deck, they could have, like, a Toxic Deluge or something. Damping Sphere. Okay, so we weren't going to Storm anyways, is what I'm seeing here. So we probably are just going to have to try to go for a Slow Belch, which, again, kind of sucks because it means our Tinderwall is going to be a one-off here. Or our Taiga. I think we want to Chrome Mox, put the Veil under it. I don't think, since we have the ley line, we're protected from discard, and I don't think we're seeing counter magic out of this opponent. And this way we can just, like, slowly build up mana over the course of a couple of turns. Damping Sphere is an interesting hate card. It's one I haven't run into yet, but it's very effective against us. Yeah, this is definitely just a mono black deck. Ooh, do they have Chain of... Well, hold on. Does this target... No, this just makes a bunch of dudes. So if they Chain of Smog themselves, they can create infinite dudes and then kill me the next turn. So that is something that we're going to have to worry about here. Another Chrome Mox. I think we run this out. I'm still not 100% sure what I'm trying to get to here. I think I'm just trying to get to a point where I can belch them. But I don't have a Belcher. And unfortunately, the sideboard hate piece we can get off of Burning Wish doesn't hit artifacts. It only hits enchantments, right? I'm pretty sure Revenant Silence is only enchantments. Yes, destroy all enchantments. That also gets rid of my Leyline and opens up discard. So unfortunately, I did not bring in Force of Vigor, which I'm probably going to bring in next game now that I know that they have Damping Sphere. If they do have the Chain of Smog, I'm just dead. Smallpox? Okay. Well, that gets rid of some of my mana? I guess we get rid of... We probably want to get rid of the Burning Wish, honestly, because we're still in a position where if we top deck a Belcher, we can play it. And then we just need to find our third mana source? So it's mono black Pox. This is very much going to be a I want to combo off on turn one. Like, I need a Belcher right now. No, another Burning Wish. Okay. Like, another Chromox can get this down. Or I'm just going to die to the Sedgemoor Witch, which is also very much a possibility. A Liliana is also my... What the fuck? Holy shit, Unstoppable Slasher. That is cool. Nice. I will say, I actually really like Duskmourn in general. Like, I don't think it has a ton of stuff for Legacy, but it's definitely got some cool cards. Like, Unstoppable Slasher is super cool. Alright, I mean, so that's more mana. So I think we're going to go ahead and cast it. Might as well get it out. Alright, opponent's getting in. The Slasher has Death Touch, so there's not really a point in me trying to block it. Because I'm just going to lose my mana if I do. I'm down to 4, though, so I'm going to have to block next turn. Because if I can get a Belcher down... Like, if I top deck... Elvish Spirit Guide... Will that allow me to do anything? I think I need to cast this, go grab the Echo, and just hope that I top deck a LED. I think that's really my only hope here. So I have to block... I think I have to block the Slasher. I mean, I'm at... Oh, no, I'm just dead anyways. Okay. Well, no, actually, I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet. Because they got an uptick, which actually throws the Echo in the graveyard. Because they can't downtick and make me sacrifice. Yeah, her opponent's like, oh shit, I forgot about the ley line. Very, very close to dead. They're sacking their own... Oh, they knew about the Echo, so they didn't want to uptick. So they're doing this. They're probably going to sacrifice their Slasher. Yeah, okay. Makes sense. Our opponent doesn't want us getting the Echo in the graveyard because it'll refuel our hand. I just take the 3 and go to 1, I guess, and gotta pray to the magic god something happens here. LED off the top. Leyline, womp. Oh, so close. Alright, on to game 3. Alright, yeah, just run back. This is a turn 1 Belcher. I think we keep it. Then we just gotta rely on hitting mana. Because all that's going to be left in our hand after all of this is going to be Burning Wish. So we don't care if they discard that at all. So run out the Petal, Spirit Guide out Tinderwall, Exile, Exile, sack Tinderwall, get Belcher down, and then just hope for mana. Alright, dodged a Mindbreak Trap. Actually dawned on me that I should have done that in the opposite order and played the Petal out last, because that would have gotten around Mindbreak Trap, but it is what it is. I can't do anything. Pass the turn. If you discard me, you're just getting a Burning Wish. I am just looking for mana at this point. LED off the top would be the absolute best. Alright, let's see. Is it a... No, Dark Ritual. Ooh. Dark... Oh, is this ad nauseum? Tell me this is ad nauseum. Tell me this is... Okay, Unstoppable Slasher. Oh my god, Null Rod! Oh! Alright, I'm out. Oh my god, absolutely fucking wrecked. I knew I should have brought in the fucking Force of Vigor. I said it in game 2 and then just completely forgot because I was chatting with the opponent. Oh, we are gonna get soloed by this Slasher and I deserve every second of it. Oh man. I mean, what? That's Legacy for you. You just gotta laugh when... And a Vexing Bobble. They had all a... Like... I mean, I'm not doing anything with a Null Rod in play, but... Oh, man. Alright, so this puts me to 9... Or 18, which drops me to 9. Oh, man. Absolutely fucking wrecked. Well, it's cool to see Unstoppable Slasher just totally solo. I mean, granted, it's honestly the Null Rod that soloed us, but we're gonna get to see them beat us down with a Slasher and just solo us with that thing. A little 2-3 that's doing like 10 damage a turn. I will let them actually kill me here, because I want to see the Slasher actually do the final points of damage. Oh man, just getting absolutely fucking wrecked here. I like it though. I'm never mad losing to spicy ass decks like this. Oh man, this is fucking sweet. All right, let's see this Slasher kill me. Let's go. And there it goes, drops me to 1, and then I lose my last life point. Alright, good game, opponent. That was sweet. I like that deck. Oh man, so that deck, it was definitely a blast to play. It was really cool that we got to see every single kind of possible win with this deck over the course of our matches. The Charbelcher win, the Warrens win, the Tendrils of Agony. So it was really cool being able to see this deck win on every axis that it could pivot on. And I will say, I was expecting this to basically be if our opponent had a Force of Will, we lost. But there were a few games that you saw, even after they stopped our first combo attempt, we were able to wheel again and try to get going again. There was that one match where if it weren't for the fact that our opponent had a Mind Break Trap and 2 Force of Wills, we would have been able to theoretically get through 2 attempts to stop our combo to be able to win. But that being said, I think we got a little lucky overall in terms of variance. I don't think if I had a larger sample size, the record would have been quite as favorable. Especially with the fact that this deck really, really struggles against Vexing Bauble. You saw that one match particularly where it's like we had to wait till we had enough mana to be able to both cast our Veil of Summer and then go through the Vexing Bauble, and it just took too long, and our opponent was able to combo out in response. But overall, I mean, the deck was a blast to play. It felt pretty good. Sideboarding honestly was kind of a bit rough since the deck is so reliant on having its combo pieces and having enough mana to go off. It felt kind of weird boarding sometimes, and I wasn't sure if I was doing it correctly. I'm sure some of the Belcher experts out there would be able to tell me that I was doing it correctly or incorrectly, and I'm sure I probably was doing it incorrectly, but I was doing my best at it, considering I'm not a Belcher player at heart. But the one thing I will say that if I were to continue on with this deck and change it and update it, I would look into something other than Empty the Warrens, with Tamiyo being omnipresent lately in the Re-Froginator and even in like Doomsday decks lately. It's +1, it just completely stonewalls the Empty the Warrens and makes it so the only way you can win with them is through a Goblin War Strike. And if you don't have enough goblins, then you're just not going to kill your opponent. So I don't know if maybe you need to look at like a Grape Shot to do direct damage, or I think it's Volcanic Eruption, the newer Storm spell that creates the 4/4 Prowess Dragons. Something along those lines, because just having a 1x as your finisher, the Tamiyo just completely shuts that down just by plussing. Like, nonetheless, once it gets to the point where it can ultimate and they can draw half their deck, the Tamiyo plussing alone just makes it so that you can't win with anything other than Belcher anymore. So, but anyways, the deck was a blast to play. I hope you all had as much fun watching as I did playing it. I will catch you all in the next one. And as always, stay salty. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. They are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.